Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Hollywood making changes to your favorite franchises and George R.R. Martin, the creator of Game of Thrones, actually agreeing with those nasty YouTubers that he called anti-fans just a couple of months ago, saying that, yeah, Hollywood needs to stop messing with books and needs to stop messing with the source material. Wow. Okay. So we'll talk about this because the ending of Game of Thrones was made up by the showrunners. It wasn't his ending because he hasn't gotten around to writing it yet.
I know.
But we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about Tom Bombadil. Tom Bombadil is going to make an appearance in Amazon's Lord of the Rings. And I think that's kind of low-key what he was talking about was all the liberties that Amazon is taking with Lord of the Rings.
Well,
and
technically that character was in the books, but that doesn't mean it's a good idea.
yeah, Peter Jackson cut Tom Bombadil for a reason. This is a character that is going to be very hard to do right in live action, and it's definitely not going to be a character that they can do right on Amazon.
No problem. They don't care about doing it right.
They don't care.
So it's probably it'll work for them since doing it right isn't one of their priorities.
No, so let's talk about this. Before you get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You're gonna woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Go out to Indiegogo, back Shadowbinders Volume 3, also a reprint for 1 and 2. You got about 2 weeks yet, and you can pick up a copy of these hardcover graphic novels. Yeah, good news. The TV show hasn't changed anything from the source material because you're getting it direct from the source. It's kind of like drinking from the hose. If you
get all the bacteria for sure.
If you buy from us directly, you're drinking from the hose. That is it.
That's not how I'd promote it, but okay.
I don't know. Watch it go up like a couple thousand because it's.
I doubt that very much. Anyway,
Culture Crave put this up. It came from George R.R. Martin's blog, and I want to remind you that a couple of months ago he was on the warpath against anti-fans, and he still hasn't written the ending of Game of Thrones himself.
Squid King brings that up.
The TV show took a lot of liberties. People hated the final season, and that's because they had to make it up because he didn't do it himself.
Hey, you're not being fair. It takes a lot of time to write these blog posts and go out to social media and stir up shit like every day. I mean, that like the DC and Marvel writers and artists and stuff in their comics, you need to spend more time on that than you actually have to do on your work.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's how it is. So, that's time management, man.
A lot of people calling him out saying that all the time that you spend on social media and doing interviews and stuff, you could have written like 9 books by now. But whatever. He's already rich. He doesn't have to worry about it. But this is what he said. He said, everywhere you look, there are more screenwriters and producers eager to take great stories and make them their own. It does not seem to matter whether the source material... Oh my God, he's calling out Marvel. Whether or not the source material was written by Stan Lee, Ian Fleming, so that'd be James Bond, Roald Dahl, Ursula K. Le Guin, J.R.R. Tolkien calling out Amazon, and Mark Twain, Jane Austen, or anyone. Okay, so, wow. No matter how major a writer it is, no matter how great the book, there always seems to be someone on hand who thinks they can do better.
Yes.
Eager to take the story and improve on it.
And improve on it means for modern audiences.
For modern audiences.
And they wonder why people don't go to the movie theaters anymore.
The book is the book, the film is the film. They will tell you as if they were saying something profound. Then they make the story their own. They never make it better, though. 999 times out of 1,000, they make it worse.
No, wait, welcome to the anti-fan club, George.
Yeah, so look, not to throw this back in his face, but I'm going to throw it back in his face.
But he's going to throw it back in your face.
He said that there are anti-fans that are attacking all of these franchises now. He said that the toxicity is growing in the book, film, and television spheres thanks to toxic fans. It used to be fun talking about our favorite books and films and having spirited debates with fans who saw things differently, but somehow in this age of social media, it's no longer enough to say, I did not like book. Well, this actually is true. I did not like book X or film Y, and here's why. Now social media is ruled by anti-fans who would rather talk about the stuff they hate than the stuff they love and delight in dancing on the graves of anyone whose film has flopped.
Well, the film's the film and the book's are the books, right?
Yeah, right.
The problem is you're not allowed to not like it. That's the issue. You're not allowed to say, and look, I think if people like something, they're allowed to like it. Like, people like things I don't like all the time. And I will scroll past their comments, and I very rarely engage unless they're being, disrespectful. But you're allowed to like things. But you're allowed to not like things. But they don't let you now, especially if it's one of these, I'm going to make it better and make it modern, current year takes where they change everything. And then like She-Ra, for example, where they literally just, took a good show, made all these representation characters, called them She-Ra character names, put She-Ra paint on it, and said that it was She-Ra. And it wasn't She-Ra. But if you didn't like it, you were a bigot. Even before you knew what the show was going to be. Not liking her costume. Calling it, saying she looked like a dude, which she did.
She looked like Ben 10.
Made you a bigot.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like these marketing campaigns are basically, you're a terrible person, you're a misogynist, you're a racist, you're whatever if you don't agree. And it worked for a while. And now people are just over it. But the intent matters. And if the intent is, I don't like it, but, I just want to say I didn't like it, and then you're like getting harassed until you fight back. That's not the same as just being like, I don't like it, and I'm going to, go out there swinging and call everybody else names. Intent matters. And a lot of people that are getting drugged are usually the ones who don't like it because it was dog shit. And over the years, the proof will be in the pudding and has been in the pudding. The numbers have proven that the normies thought it was dog shit.
What is going to happen is a lot of these facsimiles of better works are going to be forgotten.
Well, yeah, and what do, they step over and go right back, because what do they focus on with She-Ra now? The original.
The classics, yeah.
Right.
Mattel, they brought out some new action figures. They don't even reference the DreamWorks She-Ra at all.
No, they just step over it. And if it's something like, they have these movies, and those years of movies where they had like the new Terminator and the Charlie's Angels always was female led, but they made it ridiculous, et cetera, et cetera. No one talks about them at all.
No.
They just step right over it and move on.
Yeah.
Female Ghostbusters.
Yeah, exactly. The studio stepped right over it. They're like, okay, people want sequels to the originals. We'll give them sequels to the originals.
Not because female Ghostbusters is a bad idea. We've seen that it can work. It's because they were just being complete ham-fisted morons about it.
Yeah, that's just it. And they thought they could do better. And you see this disdain from the showrunners and the writers. And it's interesting. Now, he said that he actually liked Shogun. He said it actually was good. They didn't take any liberties with it. They just adapted it straight up.
Everybody said Shogun was really good. I haven't got to watch it yet, but everybody said it was amazing.
This guy here says, let's be honest, you gave the Game of Thrones writers the green light to put that ending. Yeah, I mean, that's where it's kind of like, dude, you kind of undermine your own point, because you did give the showrunners the green light to come up with their own ending, because you never got around to writing the book, and the ending was shit.
I'm sorry. I hope you're listening, Hiss Rich.
Yes, Witcher is a prime example.
That's fun. I love it.
But again, we have a lot. I think what happens is we have a lot of people come into adapting an existing work, and they want to put their own personal rinse on it, because it's like, well, this is my show now, bitches. And that is the Witcher writers' room. They wanted to put their own spin on The Witcher, and the thing is, the damage was done early on. They can't unfuck The Witcher at this point. Like, apparently they've already cut off any path to redemption.
No, you can. You just take Henry Cavill out and make it Hemsworth, and then you don't want to fuck The Witcher.
Well, they're wrapping it up. They were supposed to have 7 seasons of the show. They're filming 4 and 5 back to back, so they're probably Netflix seasons, like 5 or 6 episodes a quote unquote season, and then they're calling it a day because they've already gotten to a place with it, I guess, where they can't. Because I didn't watch season 3, but they can't do the story from the book because they've already cut off all past the story.
Well, you talk about Shogun. The only problem with that is they're definitely doing a season 2, but the first season was the book. So now it's going to be, they're going to have to make it up because they're out of material. So I don't know how it's going to go after that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. He said, just never do the Game of Thrones ending. Have someone else do it on TV, and it sucks. Say it was their fault. Yeah. But he said last year he was calling fans out.
It wasn't last year. It was a few months ago.
It was a few months ago. So here's the thing, though. I'm torn on this one. We didn't cover this when it happened. He's not.
Did we? We might have.
I don't know if we did. If we did, we just kind of mentioned it offhandedly. He's not wrong in what he's saying. His point, though, seemed to be more about owning the chuds though, because they're glad a movie failed. But I'm like, shouldn't you be glad that a piss poor adaptation of a book failed? You know what I'm saying? That's
the same reason, and this goes back to what we were talking about yesterday. I think a reason a lot of these things are failing is because there was chances given, and the stuff that kept getting put through was not what the fans had wanted. And you have years of fan goodwill, and you just piss it away for a new audience that never stays. And instead of the audience that kept you there, you insult them, tell them you want new people, chase them off. New people are just there for shipping, and then when the next shiny thing comes along, they ditch you like yesterday's oatmeal. I don't know what else.
Yesterday's oatmeal.
I don't know.
I don't like today. I don't like oatmeal, so I don't like today's oatmeal.
It flushed you like yesterday's turd. I don't know.
Well, that would be yesterday's oatmeal. Yes.
My mind is froze. Anyway, I'm making up my own expressions now. But anyway. You've trained the audience to expect the worst, and then they don't come to the movies, and you're like, why are the movies failing? I don't know. I wonder why.
That's just it. And that's going to tie into, some of the other videos we do. And it doesn't, it gets to a point where, and we talked about this with Furiosa. I just had somebody else write me today. DM said that Furiosa was actually pretty good.
No, I've only heard good things. I have not heard anything bad from people who I know that've seen it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that. So if you want to support a movie that's supposedly good, apparently that one is that movie to support.
But the damage is done where people are so tired of Hollywood in general, I think. And we have a lot of factors.
They're trained to stay home. They're trained to stay home now.
Yeah, you've trained them to stay home. We have Furiosa at home. We have, lots of things at home.
The sad thing is when you hear it's a male franchise, now it's a woman in charge, or, strong female lead or whatever, people immediately, because they've trained them to expect it to suck and it to be ham-fisted and it to be dumb. So they just don't go, which is completely shit to women, in general. But because there have been a lot of strong female leads over the years that have been amazing. It's just that in recent years, they haven't been, and audiences are like, I'll wait because it's probably going to suck.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But that one apparently is a good one. I've heard nothing but good things.
But it's still, it's suffering, and we've seen this before where, fool me once, and a lot of people are just like, yeah,
fool me 5,000 times, fuck you.
Fool me 5,000 times, and even then, it's like, okay, it's good. Oh, okay, you saw it this weekend, cool. Well, when it comes out on, digital in 2 weeks, yeah, we'll check it out. That was like Fall Guy. We're like, hey, yeah, Fall Guy. Okay, it was you were interested because of the
but I also worried
show.
It was going to be dumb because it didn't do well. I'm like, oh, this is going to suck.
Well, I think that's it too. So it becomes this like perpetuating cycle, right? Because it's like if it's a box office bomb, then everybody knows that the movie's a bomb, even if the movie's good. And some movies actually are good that did bomb. And I'm going to go back to Dungeons and Dragons because the damage was done by the people working on the movie. They would not shut the hell up.
That's what happens more often than not.
And it had the misfortune of coinciding with the OGL debacle and the Pinkerton debacle. So a lot of people boycotted just because they're like, we're not going to support it.
A lot of normies didn't know about that. But they, a lot of people heard about what was being said. And they're like, well, this is going to suck because they're telling me they're doing everything I'm afraid of happening. Same with Blue Beetle.
Yeah, Blue
Batman's
Beetle wasn't
a fascist. Terrible. Now, it makes sense in the comment when you meet with the uncle character in the movie.
Yeah, he's like a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist.
Yeah. And the trailer, people are just like, oh, it's going to be that. Yeah. I'm not going. And that's they don't understand. They themselves are destroying their own movies because they won't shut their damn mouths.
And that was half the quip. Like they actually cut it. And it was out of context, and they thought it'd be funny. Like, well, we're going to end it with, Batman's a fascist. Isn't that so cool? I'm like, wait. So you want DC Comics fans to come to your movie after you call Batman a fascist? You want DC Comics fans to buy your Suicide Squad game after you shoot Batman?
But to be fair on that
style.
One, they were supposed to kill the Justice League. That's
I know, but nobody expected them to actually do it.
I would have expected, hey, kill the Justice League. How do you win?
But
you
they
kill
have
the
to
Justice
come back
League.
or something. I don't know. I think they were supposed.
That's exactly what I would expect from that. And I'm not just defending it. Yeah. I know there's a lot of mistakes in that game, and from what I hear, it's a train wreck. I'm just saying. I don't understand. People are surprised by that because that's what it's called.
But there is this attitude that these lesser writers who, in many cases, are hired just to adapt existing material.
They can't make their own stuff. They've tried.
They can't make their own stuff, but they're like a lot of them are fanfic writers.
Okay, I was saying, case in point, Lord of the Rings guys.
Yes.
They tried. Worked with J.J. Abrams. Couldn't get anywhere, right? Tried. And then suddenly I think he helped them get this deal. And one of the reasons I got it was because they learned to speak Elvish. Well, I'm sorry, learning to speak Elvish isn't enough of a reason for me to hire you. They sucked. That's why I didn't get hired in a decade.
Or is that why they did get hired?
Maybe. Maybe. It could, I don't know. Could be. In a year or 10 years or so, they kept getting passed over. There might have been a reason for that. I'm just saying. There might have been a reason
for that. So, yeah, I cannot believe that they are going forward with more Lord of the Rings, but I think the budget's already been, well, I'd say the budget's been spent, but looking at Tom Bombadil, I'm like, this looks like a cosplayer. They
didn't race swap him, so there's that.
There's that, but this looks like me when I tried cosplaying as Dreamfinder.
Dreamfinder, yes, it does.
Because I got the Jesus beard and the whole...
Did. Now, it was red, though.
It was red. Your costume was actually pretty good, though.
Yeah, I made him a costume once.
This is me cosplaying as Dreamfinder, or just sad.
Picture.
This is Spirit Halloween Wizard, is what this is.
Basically, and here's, like I said, at least I didn't race swap him. But then again, I'm like, well, we got to make the annoying character white because we can't make it into somebody else.
We're in Creole. That's bait.
Yep.
Yeah. So here's the thing about Tom Bombadil. Now, I am no Tolkien historian. However, he was cut from the Jackson movies for a reason. Basically, Peter Jackson's like, tonally, Tom Bombadil does not fit with the movies. And I think he said something to the effect of like, I can't say that they never actually met, because this was early on in Fellowship of the Ring. The hobbits hang out with Tom Bombadil, right? And he sings, and he's a happy-go-lucky guy. In fact, every time you see him, he's, Tom Bombadil. But, okay, so when Tolkien was writing...
I'm sorry.
When Tolkien was writing Fellowship of the Ring, originally it was supposed to be a sequel to The Hobbit, so it had the same kind of tone where it was more of a fairy tale, and then it got darker as it went on. So he introduced this character, and a lot of people wondered for years, like, what is he exactly? Because he seems to exist outside of Middle Earth somehow. Like he's like a god character, or he's like a just kind of a breaking the fourth wall or whatever the deal is. Anyway, Jackson's like, yeah, he doesn't fit. I actually remember now I read the books, but I remember Tom Bombadil more from the game, because I used to play, this is how old I am, the Interplay PC game, Lord of the Rings. He was in that, and they had a whole extended scene with him and all that. And I was like, man, he looks doofy.
Sorry, I was distracted by his foot.
Okay.
It's really not, his heel is up too far on the shoe. The bottom, I don't know. Just
smile, damn you.
I mean, I did go with that one. The other one's distracting me because that foot is just driving me crazy. Anyway.
But yeah, people are like, yeah, Tom Bombadil is a happy-go-lucky, singing, dancing, fairy folk dude. And
that foot's twisted weird.
Yeah, that looks like AI or something. But,
I'm sorry. Stop showing me pictures of feet. Okay.
Somebody's going to clip that. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Stop showing me pictures of feet. But yeah.
Your ringtone.
So Peter Jackson had the good sense to cut him, but then he put Radagast in, he put Radagast in The Hobbit, but whatever. Yeah.
Well, they had to make one movie into 3.
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, come on. They take whatever they get.
So they're putting Tom Bombadil in it. And again, this is taking liberties with it. But here from Polygon, according to the article, the original article was from Vanity Fair. Tom Bombadil is singing and saying lines that could be nursery rhymes from children's poems. They said, so he sort of defies the tonal shift of the rest of the season as a real point of light amidst an otherwise sea of darkness. Does he sing sea shanties like in She-Ra?
There you go.
So that's why Jackson cut him. Jackson's like, I can't say that the Hobbits never actually met him, but I don't want to show that shit on screen because I don't know how. Basically, I don't know how to handle this character. And he's in the first book, and then he just kind of disappears. Like that.
So it's like it's a character you could easily cut out and remove, and it doesn't really change anything.
Right, but I remember
that's understandable.
Tolkien purists. I remember the message boards back then. They had a fit. They're like, oh my God, they cut Tom Bombadil. How dare you? How very dare you? And now they're like, oh my God, you're going to put him in the Amazon show. How very dare you? How dare you?
To be fair, that character does exist in the books.
Yes, he does, but I'm sure he won't be anything like the books except the annoying parts. But yeah, so this whole series is fan fiction, and I think that's kind of what he's saying. But it's interesting to hear him say that. It is interesting because dude, welcome to the party. I know. It's like I don't know what to tell you.
Here, have a seat next to me, George.
Yeah, right. You toxic toxic chud. Now go write the ending to Game of Thrones, and then they'll have to reshoot it.
Let me take you shopping for some new clothes too.
Yeah, I know, right? I think he's been wearing that hat for about 40 years.
Maybe it's his good luck hat.
It's his good luck hat. We're gonna wrap this up. We need to wrap this up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later.
Bye.